On the, before we move off of Killmonger, this is because this is kind of in line with that video I was telling you about. Um, this black vlogger, he took issue with the way Killmonger was portrayed.
Okay.
It was actually his video, and I'll find it and link it in the description here. But
Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that button.
thing, his video was he took issue with a lot of things in it, but the main thing that I actually identify with was his issue with Killmonger. He was like Killmonger. The video was titled like Black Panther doesn't like African Americans or something like that, because Killmonger it represents Black America, and I mean he comes from Oakland. He's the way he's portrayed as like this extremist that wants to hand over the vibranium weapons to every person that's black in the world and everybody else. They immediately they didn't flesh him out at all. They took him from like, yeah, here's a pretty decent reason why this individual might have these issues, and he immediately jumps to like Hitler-esque kill everybody except our race.
Mm-hmm.
And that the issue was like as soon as he got to Wakanda, he threw all broke loose because of him.
Yeah.
That didn't have to be that way. Like,
It actually did.
He could have been such a more like he was already like I said the best villain. But what made him the best villain is because I actually identified with the reasoning he had for like his dad was killed, so that's the perfect vengeance story, and what he wanted out of what he ultimately wanted was to take care of everybody. But then they flipped it in the third act where he's just a brutal dictator.
I disagree.
How? I mean, he was like...
Because you made my points with
Think about in the garden, when
Okay.
he goes in there, he wants everything burned. And the minute that woman even questions him, he has her up in the air by her throat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just little decisions like that villainizes him.
Of course. Of course. But my point is just to say, the only part I'm disagreeing with you on, and maybe this, as you call him, black blogger, we'll find out. I'm pretty sure there's only one or two of those in the world. Once we find out that, this is my point that I disagree with again, is disagreeing with the character wasn't fleshed out. To me, it was fleshed out in a style almost as if you watching a movie, like a Quentin Tarantino movie, where it doesn't give you everything up front. It kind of like flips back and forth, and it's up to you to put the story together. Let me not give it to you. And the reason why I say this is this. We start out at the beginning, and we see his character was being fleshed out not just by him, by himself alone. No, his character was not fleshed out, but his dad. His dad was the one that taught his son every night about. Think about this. His dad came from, at least they didn't say how long he had been in America, but he at least had been in Wakanda for at least most of his life. So you come from seeing kings, queens, people live, eat right, dress right, talk right, learn, evolve, educate themselves, to you come to your worst nightmare, a lean on me version of America in Compton. And so now not only that, your worst fears, you've told me offset, is you didn't want to bring a child into this world. So he came from that and actually brought a child into not the world he came from, the world he lived in. So now he has a responsibility. He has to teach his child where he comes from, and also that you are living here now. So it's like saying, hey, heaven exists, but you're living in hell. Now let's stop there. So, with that being said, all he wants to do is just be like his daddy. Any kid wants to be like his dad. Fast forward. He comes outside from playing basketball after seeing an alien ship leave and sees his dad with claws tatted all up in his chest. You know what? We just said, well, that worked for Batman. That's for heroes. If heroes can be born from vengeance, villains can be born from worse villains. So walking in, seeing your parent die, not just dead, murdered, and having no answers, not even knowing who did it, getting no justice. Mm-hmm. So finally, after you've been to Iraq and all these places that are just bred from blood and killing, you want him to be diplomatic. There is no diplomatic when he is that close to tasting. Once he would have got liberation, then maybe he would have chilled out a little bit. But to him, yeah, he's choking bitches. He's doing all this crazy shit. You know why? Because choking that bitch ain't got nothing to do with walking. When he walked in and saw his daddy dead on the ground with Panther claws, to him, that's a least a thing that he has to do to liberate people, to show them we have the power. And if this wouldn't happen to me, though, it could have been different. And the truth be told, me and you agree. I agree with the Killmonger role. The only issue is I can't let people say they don't like how they vilify him. Well, if that person got their daddy killed in front of them and went to Iraq and did all this stuff and then had a chance to take care, to look out for their daddy, which is why he killed Shuri. When we were like, that's why he killed him. And then he wanted to kill Black Panther. But at the end of the day, they still develop his character at the very end. And I can't say why, because that's going to be my quote of the movie. So I'll stop.
Okay.
That's the trailer.